And we're back. You may have seen this in the shorts. This is the Snap-on SSD MR4A. This is the older ratcheting hard-handled screwdriver. This is something we found on eBay. It wasn't working. I got it for about, what was it? I want to say $30. This is a $80 plus shipping if you don't buy it off of a truck screwdriver, ratcheting screwdriver. It's got the mechanism there, bing, bing, and also you can make it static that way. You can use it as a regular screwdriver. This thing is pretty great. I like it for what it is. We're just going to go into detail on some things with you. Stop that. What are you doing, dude? A little story about this, if I will. The difference you can tell between the A and the B is the newer one. There are some other SSD MR4 models that have like limited edition stuff or whatever. Relax, dude, he's sneezing. See this, if I spin it, how it kind of rides up and then comes down to a point right there and then rides up again and then comes down to a point right there. That is because it's just how the Williams developed it. This is literally a Williams-made screwdriver with Snap-on on there. So I'll list some Williams stuff down below that, personally, I would recommend over this, but there's just something satisfying, something that just screams take my money about a Snap-on item. Me knowing that the Williams items are, in my opinion, a far superior thing, there's still something just really nice about this. I like how this kind of turns into a point of contact in your hand, and when it's actually working, you know, you can turn it like that. You kind of almost have like dials, like flaps with that back there. This is typically how this rides in my hand when I'm using it. So what I did with this was, instead of getting a rebuild kit or anything, I pulled this pin right there, lifted it. I got a hole in the deck right here. Well, you know, slots between the boards. I don't want to take it apart right here. Maybe we'll do another video if you guys want where I will take it apart. But that slides up. This yanks out. The shaft yanks out. The shank yanks out. And then you have a little rocker switch right here. You have a detent pin, you have a spring, and then you have a metal rocker that goes over it. And then you have a male end right here that as you turn it, that's, you know, this is centered, pushes to the left, the detent's right in the center. Pushes to the right, detent's right in the center still. And then that's what creates these pawls. They separate from this main gear, and you get that satisfying type of crank. I just wanted to go into detail on this on my channel. There are other channels that have done this before, but there's just the reason why I'm bringing it up, and the reason why I would say maybe there's a silver lining I'll get into at the end of this, but maybe you should go for the Williams. I love this, and there are times where this is a superior mechanism to the Williams, where if I'm really trying to crank something on or off at first to break it loose, I wouldn't be recommending this. I think it's too much stress anyway on a ratcheting screwdriver. Maybe you should use something like an impact if you need that, but if you're in a pinch and it's all you have, and this is just like an EDC thing or whatever, not that a lot of people EDC ratcheting screwdrivers, but I mean, hey, this could be used for multi-purpose activities. Act accordingly. Notice this. If I'm just holding this and freely spinning, actually it was just doing it, freely spinning it, see how it just got caught up? Does anybody know why that's happening? When I bought this on eBay, it didn't work. I pulled it apart and I realized the detent pin was missing. There were 2 detent pin and springs in this entire system of this. And I noticed, you know, I thought to myself, hey, that looks kind of familiar. So I sat there for a minute, And then I realized this uses the same detent pin that's in one of my AR builds, one of my AR kits. So I just went back to the parts bin for that stuff, and I found one, and I put it next to this, and maybe I'll list it like right here or something off to the side. But you know, I noticed I noticed that it was the same, so I just used it. And you know, when this thing is functioning, the back drag is good. You know, I swapped it in and it worked. And I thought maybe if I had to switch them out, maybe it was, you know, I think these pins are actually two different springs. One's a little shorter, one's a little longer, and two different pins. One's a tiny bit smaller, one's a tiny bit bigger. But I'm not 100% sure. So I couldn't find anything on Reddit. I'm looking for some help here. If anybody can put that down in the comments for me and help a brother out. This is kind of me asking you. I'm going to make a video on this thing next too. But just wanted to see what you guys thought, because watch this. It's good, and then it'll choke up. See that? It's still in tightening mode, but it just chokes up. See? And I think it's got something to do with this shank being too far out or too far in, and just not, yeah. But it's weird, because if I pull on it, it'll get caught up. It's very odd. And it does it even when you're loosening too, but it seems like not nearly as much as when you're tightening. Yeah, not nearly as much at all. I'm really trying to work for this, and it's just not getting hung up. So maybe it's only on the Titan, because that just, yep. You know, I'll be using it, and then all of a sudden the ratcheting aspect of it will fail, and I just end up going back to the Williams. So the silver lining I was talking about was just finding a Snap-on tool truck and walking up to him and saying, hey, I have this, it doesn't work, fix it. And he'll hand me a brand new one. But he won't hand me an SSD MR4A. He'll hand me a newer version of it. And I'm not tied to the yellow. I kind of really would prefer orange or black, but it is what it is. I think the upgrade would be the B, as I was saying earlier. The A has that. The B is flat and flush, and it looks, I think, a lot nicer. This looks almost kind of broken if you don't know what you're looking at first. It clearly isn't flush. It doesn't fit. So that's that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What can I do? What can I do? I've oiled this. I've cleaned it. I've done all that. I've used gun lubricant basically in here, just a metal-on-metal lubricant. Maybe that's the problem. I even went back in, took it apart, and wiped it down, because you got a little schmutz on there. It's not too wet, I can tell you that. I do not think it's too wet, but I don't think it's over lubricated. But kind of at a wit's end on this. Okay, real quick before we end this. I did a few things to this since this last clip, and I think you'll be able to hear it. Notice how that's super quiet. I got just grease for my machine grease. It's just blue grease. It's an oil-based grease. And I put it in there only after trying the regular Tetra grease and whatever, and that did absolutely nothing. So I pulled that out and I repacked this with this new grease. And if I can get you right here, let's see. Oh. Is this possible? No, not possible. I'm trying to see how I can do this. 1 second. Let's see. Maybe I can just put you here. What I'll do is I'll get the mic near this, but you would think that I just solved my problem. Oh, dude, you just gotta grease it. You just gotta grease it. That's all you had to do. Is I put gun lube in it, and then now you have to grease it, and it's good. Now, if I'm doing basic stuff, like if I'm just screwing in gentle things, I think this will be perfect. But once you really start stressing it, it would continue to, it would start to slip now in the direction it's trying to turn and tighten. So if I put it on tighten, after about 20, 30 turns, yep, it just did it. You probably, let me get the mic near it, and you can just hear this versus what it sounded like before. Well, honestly, if I just keep my mic where it is, you can, I almost want to do this to all of my tools because it's so quiet. I mean, obviously the grease is going to give some sound deadening, but god dang, it's so quiet. This is quieter than the Williams. So maybe Williams just uses thicker grease or something, and Snap-on doesn't. I don't know. But god, this just became such a more satisfying tool. If this will hold up, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think. Reason why it's slipping. Sometimes it will even lock up, but it depends on the angle it's at, I think. If it's upside down, I don't really know. Curious what you think. I'm going to give you some ASMR real quick of this, though. Close up. Get the mic all up on this thing, and maybe we'll put it right here. Is that possible? Ooh. Notice how it kind of cranks up like that? It depends on what side it's on. It's weird. It's like the grease is getting pushed, and it's getting pushed down to the bottom rather than pushed over top and then falling back onto it. That's probably what this is. I think so, because the pawls are down the bottom, so the grease is getting pushed up and then just falling back down. Whereas this, if I flip it upside down, watch, it's going to get loud. Definitely much louder. Put it on its side. Kind of quiet. There we go. Notice how it's a little bit louder? Oh my god, it feels like a Rolex now, though. Oh, that's buttery smooth. Okay. All right. I'm curious what you think. I'm probably going to end up just taking this back to the tool truck, or not back to the tool truck, but to a tool truck, and just saying, hey, give me a new one. I know since I'm not the original owner, technically, I don't think I have the lifetime warranty, but dude, that's the purpose of that label right there. I think that's the most valuable part of Snap-on is that lifetime warranty. Harbor Freight too, which is why we might get into this next. Yikes. Have a good one, guys. Have a good one, guys. Don't die.